we have an expression in English, easier said than done. That means, oh, it's easy, 6 months. That's easier said than done, okay? Not as easy as it sounds.
Okay, and I started the translation, so it's our TED Talks, weekly TED Talks. Today's topic is about how to learn language in 6 months, and we're all curious about it because we probably spent more time than 6 months already. And I don't know how others, but I found this video very interesting. I got a lot of new conceptions, a lot of new ideas, and some controversial things. It's good for discussion. So let's start it this way. Let's name the one thing which is the most the most attractive things in this video. What do you remember the most from this video? Something. Leila, can you start?
I knew that. You were going to ask. Okay. I just watched the video, but nothing attracted me a lot. I just concentrated on what he was trying to, just say. And I didn't agree with him. That's the point for me. The most attractive thing? No, I don't think there is one.
Maybe I badly asked or something. I mean, is there anything which surprised you most? What some feature what you want to discuss? Or
Yeah,
like
because I was a bit surprised because the speaker became fluent in Mandarin Chinese in 6 months. So he was using psychological research. I mean, this made me a bit surprised. I thought about it a lot, to tell you the truth. That's all, Ivan. That's all.
Okay, Gerard, what about you?
I wasn't sure whether I think he said that how to learn a second language. What does that mean? That the person who wants to learn this second language is a monolingual? Because people who knows more languages, for people who knows more than one language, is easier to learn another language.
Yes, good point.
Yeah, I think he was talking about a second language. Because most people don't learn more than 2 unless you're crazy.
But I think most people learn a second language in a school.
We discussed once that in modern society, a lot of bilingual people. There are a lot of bilingual, so they know a few languages just from childhood. So I don't think that the second is important in his speech. I think it's just the next one. So you know some languages and you want to get next one, and 6 months is enough. It's how I get it. And what about me? I got a very interesting concept is language parents, or how it's called, because it's very interesting for me. I start to think about it, and I have time to think about it, and I found that he described it very clearly and very and exactly like it happens with me when I'm teaching my boys to speak. I never correct him, but I always rephrase it in a language how he can understand and how he can say. And I start to think, why I do that? No one taught me to do that. I do it just, I don't know why. It just works. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, you do it to keep him comfortable, so he won't be afraid or embarrassed to keep trying to speak. So it makes sense.
Yes. Leila, please.
I agree with Lee. It makes sense because repeating the same thing doesn't help them. I do that in the classroom. I never correct their mistakes on the spot. Later, I just want to give them some feedback, but I rephrase because then they can understand. I sometimes simplify.
Yeah. So at least one concept in this video looks good for me. I don't know what. Honestly, most of them looks good for me. I just don't know. Do they lead to exactly 6 months learning or not? But all of them looks good. Teacher Lee, what the thing surprised you in this video?
Well, I'm like you. I thought the language partner concept was good. It made sense when someone's first starting out. I like the emphasis on relevance. People learn better if it's relevant. If they can see a use for it in their life, then they're going to remember it better. Oh, I can use this when I talk to my friends about movies or something like that. So relevance and importance is very good. If I'm talking about samurais in ancient Japan, that's not a conversation vocabulary I'm going to use much. So I may not remember it. But if I talk about something that I do every day or in the office or at home, I'm going to remember that better because it's more relevant, more important to me. So that emphasis I thought was good. The rest of it was kind of common sense to me. I didn't see anything new.
Good. So relevance is important. I agree. If your life depends on that, you will learn fast. Maybe even without teacher or without dictionary, you will speak fast if you alone in Mexican desert or something like this.
Yeah. Water. I'll learn water. Aqua.
Yes. So let's go directly to our questions because we always don't. Gerard, please.
So I'm wondering which level he's talking about. I mean, intermediate level or fluent, I don't know. It depends, because it's not that difficult to get an intermediate level of a language. But speaking close to a native, that's what's difficult.
Yes, it's a good point too. And I did not find the answer in the I did not find the answer in the video. He don't mention any level or tests or something. Just speak language. So I don't know. And it's yes, Leila, please.
Oh no, please go ahead, my friend.
And I mean, it's very close to question from teacher Lee. He asked how many hours the student can and is going to spend on this learning. It's very important thing, and it's unclear too. So 6 months, maybe 1 hour a week. So 8 hours, and I can speak English. It's a miracle. Or it may be 20 hours a day. 20 hours a day, and it looks like you should die at the end. maybe the grave will have some Latin book, some English name caption, so like that. So it's unclear, yes. And I don't know. What do you think? Which I can formulate this. How many hours should we spend on learning language to do it in effective way?
Well, the assumption is if you're a working adult, you can't do it 8 hours a day because you don't have that much free time. You've got to eat, you got to spend time with family. So I would think maximum 2 hours a day is practical.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 1 hour a day is more easier to do.
I don't know, but I think that all people are different. And for me, I found that when I do it in non-intensive way, when I do it like 15 minutes at once, it gives me nothing. It give me nothing. So I have to do my learning in intense way. So a few hours a day, and then I get some results. Then I will get some results. Leila, what do you think?
It depends on the personality, and it depends on what kind of learner you are. For example, I'm an audio-visual learner, so I can spend more time just listening, doing a lot of listening activities. For example, I'm not good at reading because I can lose my concentration, but listening, I can just listen to English conversations a lot. So I'm thinking about my university years. Even believe me, I just studied 5 hours or something like that.
A day
Yes, but
or
Yes,
a week? A
a
day?
day, a day. But for example, 2 hours in the morning, and then 1 hour lunch break time, and 2 hours before I slept. The only thing is that determination is the key for me. And you know, I have never been to an English-spoken country. And a lot of friends of mine who graduated from the university, they can't speak. They can't speak English because speaking is very important.
it's another perfect point. It's what I like in this video. I forgot the exact phrase, but it was like something. A language, it's not what you know, it's what you can do. It's very interesting. It's very good for me because I knew a lot of English words in my university and in my school, but I can't produce any sentence. And it's not about knowledge, it's about some skill, some, I don't know how to name it. Gerard, what about you? What do you think? How many hours a day should we spend to learning, for effective learning?
For me, for effective learning, I need to be motivated. And
Yes.
I like listening. I think it's very important. Watching movies, TV series, TV programs, but you need to like what you do. You know, yeah, I need to like movies, and I need to like this language as well. So that makes my learning better. Now I do that with French. I read in French and I watch TV series in French, and so it's not like forcing myself to study. So it's like doing something that I like to do, but in French.
Yes, I think it can be about relevance what we discussed before. Not exactly, but something like that. if someone will force me to learn English, it will be ineffective, I think.
I know that.
Okay, let's go to another question from Leila. I don't believe that a person can learn a foreign language in 6 months. Do you agree with me? Why or why not? Leila, could you start to answer on your own question?
Sure. What I'm thinking is learning a foreign language depends on 4 skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. If you want to learn a language, a foreign language very well, you should focus on these 4 skills. And 6 months is not enough. And I believe that as a teacher who has been teaching English for a long time, I still, need time to learn a lot of things. And you should learn the culture of the language, the target language you're learning. I don't know what Lee will say.
Let's ask him. Teacher Lee, what do you say? what will you say about it?
I agree with her 100%. The culture can be delayed. I mean, you have to be able to speak the language at least a minimum amount before you can learn the culture of it. But it helps, I would say, once you get maybe intermediate, learning the culture will help you understand the language and the double meanings and the hidden meanings better.
Yeah.
So 6 months, not enough. Leila, please.
Oh, I just want to add something. When I say culture, dear Lee, I just want to emphasize on this point, meaning. For example, in my country, people are just translate everything word by word. They never understand the meaning. So you can have a lot of funny things.
No.
So what I'm trying to make them understand, please think in English, translate it in English. And also meaning here is very important. Thank you.
Gerard, what do you think? Is 6 months enough?
Then that depends. If you are living in the country of the language you want to learn, I think it can be possible if you have the time to spend studying many hours a year and being all the time immersed in the language. I think it's possible.
Okay. Well, I think it's tricky question. Tricky question in this video because it's not defined. As Gerard said, the level is not defined. So, technically, the speaker is right. Can you learn English for some undefined level for 6 months? Of course. You can learn hello and you already know some English. So, and you do this in 6 months. So technically you learn some language to undefined level. So, but I think, of course, it's not it's not the point of the speaker, but for me, this speech looks like marketing for some schools or something. So he is technically right. He don't lie to us, to our audience, but don't tell all the truth. So 6 months is enough to start speaking. It's enough to order dinner in the cafe. It's enough. I think my Spanish will be good for that in 6 months. I can order some beer or something else. But can I say that I know Spanish after that, or I know English? I don't know. And the second remark, small thing, looking to the babies, looking to the children, they are perfect in learning. they soak everything very fast, but 6 months not enough for them, as I see. Because after 6 months, they still have some problems with language. They talk, but not so perfect language. So, and they are better in this than I or other adults. So I think it's not enough, this 6 months. Okay, so we all agree. We all agree here. Let's go to another question. Let it be my question, just for for difference. So, do you have or ever had language partner? I mean, second language or third language. Gerard?
Language parents, you mean?
Yes, language parents. I mean, in how it was in video. The partner who will work with you on your language, will speak with you on language what you understand, will correct you, will fix your mistakes, and so on.
You know, I think in a TV program in my country, I saw a guy who speaks many languages, like 20 or more, and he had a person all day long that speaks the language he wanted to learn. So all day long with this person and speaking the language, you know, so that would be a parent, I think.
Yes. I always told told my wife that the best way to learn language is do it in marriage. So get a partner and start to speak. Yes, Leila, do you have a language partner as it defined in this video?
Oh no. I have a lot of foreigner friends around me, so we meet a lot and we talk. But I have two important people in my life. One of them is Lee, and the other one is teacher Rob. So I can ask them everything. So I must say thanks to Lee because he never, says no. So that's all because Lee and Rob are enough, and no language parent, Ivan, no.
But I don't know, can we count teacher Lee or not? Because he always uses such language that you have to have dictionary around you.
It's a kind of technique, my friend.
I know that he does it by purpose, but nevertheless.
Right.
Teacher Lee, did you have a language partner when you learned Chinese or not?
Not really, because I learned Chinese in a college course.
Mm-hmm.
So the teacher was my language parent, and his job is obviously to correct us immediately so we can learn the pronunciation and the grammar I think a language partner really applies more in an informal situation where you're learning at home or outside the classroom. And it really only applies when you're first learning the language. That's when a language partner is needed, because they don't correct your mistakes. Therefore, and they only use words you know, because they know you don't know many words, but they want you to be able to answer their questions in that language. So a language partner really is in the early stages of learning a language. After that point, once you become intermediate, then you would have like a relationship like Layla to me. I'm not her language parent, but I'm a resource that if she has any English question, she can come to me and get an immediate answer. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of an advanced language partner. Does that
Thank
make sense, Layla?
You helped me a lot. I can say this. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you.
As for me, I never had such language parents in English for my English, but I like this idea very much. And I found a few people for my Spanish now, and I'm doing this, speaking with them. So in next 6 months, I will tell you, does it work or not? So, and for now, I do it for a few weeks only. But for now, I think somehow it's work. Somehow it's work. When someone explains you on a simple language what you're trying to say, it's comfortable. It's better than work with dictionary or trying to find some sources on the internet. It's very comfortable. So I don't know, will it work or no? Okay, next question from Layla. What are the best ways of learning a foreign language? Layla, should we choose from the list of the video or
Whatever you want. You're the boss.
Okay, Gerard, would you like to start?
Yes, you're right. I was going to say the same thing.
You know, there's a thing that I'm wondering myself. I think we always talk about the time we should spend to learn a new language, but which sort of exercises or activities are more efficient? Because it's not only important the time. The 2 hours we can learn something or learn nothing. We can learn a lot of things or almost nothing. So how to be effective? That's what concerns me.
Okay, and how?
No, I don't know. I'm not sure. Because I think some exercises about, a lesson, sometimes you have to spend 2 hours to do exercises about the lesson, but what? That looks
Yes, I agree.
a waste of time for me.
Yes, for me it's always unpredictable. Sometimes, a short conversation from native speaker or from with teacher can give you a lot of to think, a lot of to understand. Sometimes you can spend a few hours and get almost nothing, and and it's hard to predict what we will have. Layla, please.
Yeah, I can understand how you feel because as a teacher, I feel, even on the Skype classes, I feel when you get bored, Ivan.
Yeah.
So I want to say this, a learner should have a goal. After this, for example, when I ask, what kind of Skype classes would you like to have with me? For example, Gerard says, I want to improve my speaking. Okay. Nobody says grammar, Only Vasant wants me to have grammar classes. Whereas grammar is important, Why? Because how you use grammar in your daily language is important. For example, that day I taught my students wish clauses, and they say how we use it. So I told them, I wish I were taller. because I'm 1 meter 63. It's a kind of complaint. So I just want them to learn how they use grammar while speaking. Thank you.
Let's stay a bit on this point. So it's a good one. But what is grammar in general?
Yeah.
Actually, what is grammar?
That's the question.
Yes, grammar for me. Let me answer my own question. Grammar for me is just a way to understand the language. It's just a way to make a learning easy. Because I never explain Russian grammar to my boys, but they get the language because they have time, that they have intention, and they don't care about grammar. And also, I saw some videos on YouTube when teacher ask natives about their grammar, their English grammar, and many of them know almost nothing. Many of them cannot, they don't know terms to describe a grammar. They don't know rules because they don't have to. They just got this language. So grammar for me is just a way to classify, to sort out the language, to make it easy to learn. And it's probably a boring thing sometimes. Am I correct, Teacher Lee? What do you think?
Well, this is a sticky point with me because a lot of students, as Layla said, don't seem to care about grammar. They don't want to learn grammar. I don't want to study grammar. But grammar is essential to speak the language correctly. Now, let's say I know 10 words. I know 10 words in English. Without grammar, I don't know how to order those words. I don't know how to change their form to the right tense. I can say, we sometimes talk like a caveman to be funny. Me want milk. You can understand it without knowing grammar. But to be respected by the people you're listening to, you need to say, I would like some milk, or please give me some milk. Grammar is important to make a good impression on your listeners. You don't have to have it, but you make a bad impression if you don't know some minimum grammar. You can't say, me want ball red. You got to say, I want the red ball. So grammar, a minimum grammar is necessary to put your words where they make sense to your listeners. So to me, it is important.
I agree. But my point was different. I mean, you will learn how to ask for milk somehow without grammar, even if you don't know rules. But it will take much more time for that. So grammar is just to simplify the thing. I don't know if
I agree that just by listening, you can kind of learn grammar without specifically studying grammar. If I hear people say, I want some milk, I want some milk, I want some milk, I learn to say, I want some milk without studying grammar at all. Is that your point?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Layla, please. Why you don't believe?
I was going to say, we are not teaching grammar the way we used to. Now we have smart boards, and now teaching grammar, we use top-down approach. Top-down approach. First of all, I want to say the speaker. While watching the video, I took some notes. Just a second. Get the meaning first. How do you say that? Repeat, please. These kind of things. Top-down approach is this. You are teaching the grammar as a whole first, and then you separate subject, verb, object, staff. But Ivan, if I had students like you, my job would be very difficult. I don't want grammar. Thanks.
It's not my word. I never told you that I don't want grammar.
No, you're right. you're right. You know, I don't know Turkish grammar because I'm studying English grammar more.
Okay. Gerard, please.
I think grammar have several meanings. One is the proper way of speaking language or writing a language, that's grammar. But grammar is also some rules to explain how a language works. But those rules are something approximate, an approximation of how the language works, because it's not exact. It's a way to conceptualize the language, but the language is not something that it's made by rules. So it's not something completely real grammar. It's a way to explain, and many grammar rules are not known by natives, like Teacher Lee, you know, always say the example of the conditionals and many examples that people who are not natives or teachers who teach a language that is not their native language use.
Yes, I agree. And let me try again to deliver my point, because I see that I do it in bad way as always. So my point was we can learn any language, not only English, any language without any grammar. And children of the world prove it many times. But the grammar just makes the thing easy, because someone smart classified the language and wrote the rules for you. You don't need to hear 100 phrases how to order milk. You just know it. You just know it because someone classified language and wrote all the rules for you. So it's just an effective way to spend your time. And yes, Leila, please.
I don't agree.
Good.
You know, because if you want to learn a foreign language perfectly, you should learn the rules as well.
Yes, I agree.
I'm not asking anybody, you know, okay, this is the board, I'm writing the rules. No. So Lee mentioned, you know, you can watch the video, you can watch a film, but just picking up the rules. But it is important. Gerard, you passed a very important exam. Would you please tell us how?
Okay, studying the rules and everything, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Gerard?
Yes, I passed the Cambridge Advanced exam 1 year ago. But I prepare, first I go to a level close to the level I wanted to pass the exam, and then I had to pass the exam itself. But yes, I did several years. But I wanted to say, it's not necessary to study grammar to speak properly a language. I see in my country immigrants who never have gone to school and they speak Catalan and Spanish with a proper grammar, like close to a native, and they didn't study any rules. So it's not something indispensable to learn to speak a language properly.
Yes, I agree. Leila?
Gerard, can I ask you something?
Yes.
As far as I know you would like to learn the details. Am I wrong?
What do you mean?
For example, you can make a good sentence in English. What do you mean? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So it means that you have learned the grammar as a way of learning the target language.
Mm-hmm.
So grammar is important, not to such a, how can I say, not to such a great extent, but important.
Leila, we don't argue with that. Grammar is very important. It's an easy way to learn. It's our point. So our point is you can do it without grammar, but with grammar it's more easy. It's more efficient.
Okay.
No?
I'm not going to say it because I'm thinking like I don't know, as a teacher. Okay.
Okay, let's go to next question. I see we kind of stuck here. So the next one. Let's imagine that my grammar is perfect and I know some words like milk or something else. How would I ask for milk if I translate it literally from Russian? I will go to a restaurant and say, bring me milk, please. That's all. But people don't say so. They say, I would like to have something else. So grammar and just a word meaning doesn't help me. Don't help me. Why? It's points us to Leila questions about culture. Leila?
Did I say something?
Yes.
Ivan, you destroyed my dream here.
Why?
A lot. But the thing is that I know one thing. I'm not saying grammar. I'm talking about all skills. For example, when we have to hire a teacher, we ask her first to write an essay. Okay, so writing is important as well. Listening, speaking, everything. I'm not just saying grammar. No. Thanks, Lee. Lee, support me.
If you can't write it correctly, how can you say it correctly?
Yes.
Think about it. If you can say it correctly, then you should be able to write it correctly. So writing as a first step to me is more important because number one, I can check your grammar. I can make sure you use words in the right order. I can see your tenses and I can see your thinking process as you organize your thoughts. And I can better evaluate your weakness when you write it down because I can study the result of your speaking and writing. Whereas if you just talk, blah, 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 it happens so fast, it's hard to do a thorough analysis of your grammar while I'm listening to your meaning. So writing and grammar to me are an important first step.
Okay, Gerard, do you
So,
have a question?
I want to ask something to teacher Lee and Leila because they are like grammar so much. What's the most effective way to learn grammar for you?
As I said in the note, I try to teach grammar in small chunks.
Great.
If I see that a student is weak in gerunds, how to use gerunds or participles, for example, I might say, okay, it's time for a lesson on verbals. Let's talk about verbals, when a verb form can be used as a noun or as an adjective. Let's say we're talking and a student says, the team go. And I said, well, I would say the team goes. Well, why? See, grammar is the why. When you get a why question, that's when grammar gets introduced. Well, team is a collective noun. So now I say, okay, let's have a short lesson on collective nouns, what they are, what verb, plural or singular to use with them. So I like to teach grammar in small chunks, small pieces as a need arises. Does that make sense?
Wow.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's boring. If I just say, we're going to talk about 10 different grammar topics. Oh, shoot me now.
Leila, would you like to add something?
Sure. I agree with Lee, and I do a lot of activities when I start teaching grammar. Brainstorming, warm up, fill in the blanks. For example, I just choose a song related to the topic and ask my students to fill in the blanks, but not, I don't choose the words, not about the new lesson I'm going to teach, the things they know. So this encourages them. And then I said, what is new in this activity? And they say, we don't know this. I wrote it on the board and tried to, warm up and brainstorming or writing a letter to my students. These are the new methods in methodology, not classic way. Thank you.
Okay, Leila, you conveyed us with Gerard, and we ask to make your next lesson about grammar, please, before we forget.
Okay, all right. We are going to have fun.
Okay.
I'm going to choose a song for you, Ivan. We don't
Okay.
need no teachers. We don't need teachers.
So let's go back to the questions about cultural things, how it's related to language learning, how it's important to know something about culture of your target language. And let me give you some examples. I give you one about bring me milk without please, because it's literal translation, and just a few more. For instance, why we took the photo, why we take the photo, why we don't make it or don't do that, why we do homework. How to say it? It's not the result of grammar. It can be both. It can be make homework, it can be do homework, it can be take homework maybe. So it's what is that? Is it cultural thing or what is that? Who can answer?
I wouldn't call it culture necessarily, but it's a group. It's group driven. We tend to speak. We call them collocations. We tend to speak with certain word groupings, like take a picture. As you said, I could say make a picture, but normally we always say take a picture, take a picture, take a picture. So those words become associated. I'm not sure it's cultural, but it might be more society driven. It's a phrasing that people adapt, and then everyone uses that phrasing.
Yes, and it's very interesting because when beginners trying to translate everything from native language, it always sounds strange.
Yeah.
Yes, and you can read my blog if you need more examples.
Do and make always drive new students crazy. Do I do a mistake? Do I do a movie? You know.
Yes.
Do I make my homework? Yeah. You know. Yeah.
So it's not cultural, yes, but science, it's about society. It's about nation. I don't know, about the habits of people. It's kind of related, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it was my answer to question why it's why it's important to know something about target language culture, because when you watching the movies and hearing the natural dialogues, you will adapt it. You will take these phrases, colloquial phrases.
One reason to know a little bit about the language's culture is it may help you teach better in some ways, because like in Chinese have two ways to ask a question. Literally, they would say, you want, no want. You like, no like. That's how they ask questions in Chinese. So when they try to speak English, they say, you like, no like. So we have to say, oh, I know why he's saying that, because in Chinese they say you like, no like, and the answer is I like, I no like. So by understanding their culture, you can say in English, we don't say you like, no like. We say, would you like, or do you like? You know, so culture helps sometimes as far as the language patterns.
Yeah.
Leila, do your students have this problem? Do they put the verb on the end, like in Turkish?
Of course. For example, they say, teacher, can I open the light? I said, we don't use open here. So this is direct translation, you see. But when I say cultural problem, I'm talking about gestures, how to use the target language in our daily life. For example, I have learned something that in my culture, people ask direct questions to each other. Hey, how much do you earn? Hey, you are married. Why don't you have children? So, what I have learned that in England, people never ask these kind of questions to each other. So when I say cultural problem, I said I have to learn a bit about the culture. So I just ask my students to use the target language in our daily life by creating an environment and make them speak. This is we call role play.
Good. It's a very good point. It's a very good point about. Now I understand clearly what you mean about culture, and yes, it's good. It's it's a. I see this problem always in my speaking because in Russian we don't use small talks a lot. I don't care about to say hello, how are you? I always forget this. Because in Russia, if you don't ask directly what do you want, it's kind of rude. So I always start from direct question, then people look at me, where is hello, man?
And also, remember we talked about it before. We touch each other a lot. So in England, they think that you are, you're rude. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I seen someone from Vietnam asking to Krina how old was she several times, and she didn't say anything.
So probably he was surprised. Why she don't answer? It's a simple question. What's wrong? Teacher, tell us something funny about this. What students translate? What the cultural things surprise you when people translate their native language to English?
It's kind of hard to pinpoint it. Like I say, usually it's just direct translation speech patterns, like the Chinese, you like, no like. Or as Layla said, I need to open the light. They sound funny because they're, it's not how we say it in English, but in their language, it's a direct translation. It sounds perfectly good. So you say, well, you can't say that. Well, why can't I say that? Maybe grammar can help you sometimes, but sometimes the answer is we just don't.
Can I ask something?
Of course.
One of the students in the classroom told this, don't make me numbers. What do you think it means? This is direct translation.
No idea.
So grammar is correct, but no meaning. It means don't play tricks on me.
Okay, so it's translated idiom probably, right?
Yes.
Sounds like an idiom, yeah.
He taught in Turkish and translated in the English.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one case. Idioms don't translate well.
Yes, but another interesting thing is that idioms often have a pair. Because it's a strange thing, but when you look for a dictionary, look for idiom in the dictionary, in the most case it will be translated by your idiom. So it's like the people avoid the same topics to make it in idiomatic way, to say it in idiomatic way.
No, what I find fascinating sometimes is when an idiom exists in another language that's very close. Like we say, kill two birds with one stone. The Russians kill two rabbits with one bullet. It's very similar. So in that case, it's easy to understand an idiom if you have something that's kind of close.
It looks like a deaf phone. Someone said it to someone and he retold and retold again, and the meaning is the same, but all the words are changed.
Yeah. So I find that to be fascinating.
Yeah, please. I talked a lot.
And teacher Lee just noticed in our chat that joking is cultural too, and it's a very good point too. Layla, do you like to joke in English and how it's successful?
I'm trying not to joke a lot because I am not sure whether I will hurt the person or not. But I love your jokes, Ivan.
Yes, I do it in another way. I do it in another way. I do them often. Many of them fall flat, but I keep trying.
So you're great, my friend. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I want to learn how to do that. So it's and only way it's try. It's try more and more. Gerard, do you have a problem with English humor? Is it translated well to Spanish or not?
No, I like it. Here in my place, we like a lot British humor because it's like sort of serious and you need to understand it. So we like it's an intelligent humor.
Leila, what about Turkish humor, Turkish jokes? Are they translated to understandable? Are they understandable?
I want to say something. In one of the tests, my students were asked a translation sentence, and they were shocked. It is about a lady's stockings. So they didn't know how to say. I said, don't feel scared. Just try to understand the idiom. Okay, you can write, instead of translating from Turkish to English, you can write, I have a problem with my stockings. The thing is that I'm sure you haven't heard it before because I haven't. This is like this. They ask this. I have a letter on my tights. Translated. Lee, they were shocked. Believe me, they were shocked. I said, don't worry. Just write it. I have a problem with my tights, with my stockings. So the thing is, Ivan, as a non-native speaker, sometimes when I come across these kind of things, I try to translate the meaning.
Mm.
Actually, for a foreign student, a way to be funny might be to translate an idiom literally and let people laugh at what you're trying to say.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I still remember the funny one. I know it from the horse mouth.
What's that?
How do you know that? I heard it from a horse's mouth.
Yes, it's very funny. Another one which I liked recently, it was let's call it a day. Okay, let's call it a night.
Yeah.
Okay, and we run out our questions, and the time is almost gone. So nice timing this time, and very interesting topic. And I will share my experiment, the result of my experiment with you about language parents and my Spanish. We will see, does it work or not?
How many hours a week are you going to spend?
I don't know about a week, but I'm do it each day, and it's near to 1 hour. Sometimes more, sometimes less, like that. So I'm trying to spend an hour a day for my Spanish, and I do it without any writings, only listening, speaking, and so on. So like a children.
Like a child. Yeah.
Like a child. Yes, Leila, please.
Are you going to visit Spain?
Nice.
When?
Yes?
Are you going to come to Spain, Leila?
No, I'm asking to Ivan because he's studying Spanish.
Yes. After this 6 months, I'm not ready yet.
Next summer.
Yes. Summer in Spain is too hot for me, Gerard. I will die immediately. So
No. In my place in the north of Spain is not that hot.
Okay. So I will investigate it. So nice talking as always. Thank you all. And we have notes from teacher Lee. I don't read it today. We have a vocabulary, and people, we didn't write the sentences in the last time, but you promised, so we are waiting. Use this vocabulary to write your sentences in our discussion category, in our discussion topic, please.
Okay.
Yes, Leila.
I won't be able to be with you next week, so see you the following week.
Okay.
Yes, right. I go to my vacation too on next 2 weeks, so we need a new house, new
Facility.
facility. Yes, for the talk. If you would to continue, let's wait a few weeks.
Oh, we probably should skip it because, as you can see right now, we don't have a lot of attendees for this. So if two of us are gone, we probably won't be able to get a quorum.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So nice talking. Thank you
Thank you
all.
very much.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.